A villain is important in a story. Whether your villain is Darth Vader from the Star Wars series or GLaDOS from Portal, both of these villains are quite fun and everyone likes them. Your villain doesn't always have to be like this, however, because sometimes we like a villain that's more goofy or something that just we don't take very seriously. But I think some specific villains that we'll be talking about are slasher horror villains. You know, characters like Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees, those characters. That is what a slasher horror villain is. And, well, you know, they're fine, they're great, don't get me wrong. Watching their movies is like basically watching a slow version of Doom that you can't play. And yeah, it just works perfectly for them. But something that I've noticed in the grand scheme of these characters is their backstories, or their lore, whatever you want to call it. And usually it's not exactly a main focus for these characters. It's kinda there and it just exists, and that's pretty much about it. It doesn't really need to be there, of course, because it works for these characters. However, I believe that there is one character that, in my opinion, kind of is an exception to this. A character that has more of a focus on his deeper backstory, at least in later entries, and this character I'm referring to is Mr. Afton, aka the purple guy from the Five Nights at Freddy's series. So probably most of you wondering, watching the video, thinking to yourself, oh, I know who that guy is, I love these games, I'm a fan of the series, and that's why I'm watching your video. Well, I want to explain him to those unaware of this character as if nobody was already. So, here we go. He is the main antagonist of the FNAF series, and he's notorious for killing children, a lot of children. He has a pretty high kill-to-death ratio. That's pretty neat. And, well, that's kind of the surface of it, and typically with Five Nights at Freddy's, whatever's on the surface is the bare minimum. If you want the full story or the full package, we have to go deep, and in order to go deep, we have to analyze every single game that he's been in. Well, almost every single game that he's been in. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but for now, we'll just stick with the first 3 games for this beginning segment. Okay, so to start everything off with Five Nights at Freddy's 1, I'm gonna be completely honest, there is literally nothing here about William as a character or anything to analyze here. Outside of the papers that just kind of reference that there's a killer on the loose, and that's pretty much about it, William has nothing to do in FNAF 1, or literally has an appearance in this game. It's not until the next 2 games where he has more of a prominent role. So, FNAF 2 is probably where things get a little interesting, like I already said. In FNAF 2, there are these special death minigames which a lot of people know about already, but just in case, there's a chance that your game will take you to a little minigame. And they're really simple, by the way, they're not hard at all. They're mainly there to sort of give more backstory as to what's going on. And there's only 3 instances in which William Afton does have an appearance. One of them isn't as major or important in my opinion, but the other 2 are pretty heavy in terms of content. So we're gonna go over these 3 little mini games for this part of the video. So we're gonna start off with the least important one, which is the Foxy Go 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 minigame. In this one, you simply just run to the right, and that's pretty much it. The only part in which William Afton does show up is this specific sprite right here, where he just kinda stands there and smiles. You could probably give Foxy a nice conversation with him. That's pretty much about it when it comes to this one. The next one is the Save Them, Help Them minigame. This one is kinda the same story. This one you play as Freddy and you just follow the puppet around, and occasionally the purple guy will show up. He'll just kind of walk to the left and catch you. He's kind of unavoidable, and also has the sprite that literally everyone uses in their videos, including mine, so there's that. Also, on a side note related thing, he's holding something. This was kind of something that the fanbase kind of tried to solve, but could never get any close. Like, is he holding a phone? Is he holding a knife? It's too bendy to be a knife. Is he holding a crowbar? Is he gonna be Gordon Freeman? Is he gonna make Half-Life 3? And finally, of course, we have the Take Cake to the Children minigame. This one is, like I said, with all of these, really easy. You just play as Freddy and you give cake to the children, but outside there is a single child crying. Now that child would eventually die. Jump scare the player. And as I already stated before, there's not really a whole lot that goes on these, but what we do get is enough for the game itself. You know, just to give us the whole thing of, he evil, go stop him or something. And with that pretty much wraps it up for FNAF 2. Like I said, not a whole lot. But I think FNAF 3 probably has an even bigger role for this character. So Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is probably the biggest one in terms of William stuff. And only because of one small detail. That's Springtrap. Do I even need to explain Springtrap? He's pretty much at the top of everyone's tier list, and for good reason. I think it's just because of his conceptual design, and compared to the characters that came before him, he definitely stands out among the rest of the characters in Five Nights. I'm not really going to explain him much, because everyone kind of knows who he is, but I'll do it just in case you don't know. So Springtrap is actually the purple guy. Whoa, big whoop. But basically, in the year of, I don't know, a year, it's never really specifically said in the game, so just kinda pretend that it's a year. And what basically happens is he gets caught in the Springlock suit, which FNAF 3 does explain. He gets killed in it, and yeah, that's honestly pretty much it. He dies in the suit and he comes back alive in FNAF 3. And outside of everything else, that's literally all there is to Springtrap. And already you're probably scratching your head, if you think he's so interesting and this game apparently has the biggest thing of this character, why the hell does he come back? That's literally what happens to, like, Jason Voorhees, because he drowns and then he comes back alive. Well, my friends, and girls, and not friends, and enemies, and frenemies, I am going to tell you all that Springtrap has one thing that, in my opinion, makes his character interesting. You see, the characters such as Jason Voorhees can just kind of be described as a zombie. He basically comes back from the dead. But in William Afton's case, I don't think that he actually dies. Also, quick little disclaimer, I don't know if this is actually canon or not, or if this is even the true thing in this game, but like, just keep that in mind, just take it with a grain of salt. But I think that Springtrap is not actually dead or dies, well, of course, until his inevitable end in FNAF 6. Okay, so let me explain. So, in Ultimate Custom Night, it's kind of confirmed that Cassidy, the spirit of Golden Freddy, is haunting Afton for all eternity. And yeah, and is keeping him in purgatory the entire time. So, wouldn't it make sense for the Springlock suit, which William was trapped inside and has been given a great amount of pain, Wouldn't it make more sense if Cassidy wanted to keep him inside the suit at all times, just so he could experience the pain over and over again without dying, and, you know, henceforth keeping him alive throughout the entire time? This would actually explain why he actually makes noises in FNAF 3. Just in case you don't know, there are these special noises that he can make, which is just kind of like these. I'll play one on the screen for you. Bottom of the line is that there is someone alive in there, and not doing very well. And that would kind of imply that he is still alive, in my opinion. And kind of making the whole "I always come back" the whole thing kind of redundant. And I think it would also make sense in terms of the timeline and where it's currently going as well. And finally, that ends everything with Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Like I said, or at least what I can easily summarize, these games don't really have a lot of William Afton backstory. It's mainly just him doing the stabby and getting himself killed. Well, almost killed. And yeah, that's kind of it for these 3 games. However, where things do get interesting, or at least in my opinion, is within FNAF 4 and Sister Location. So we're gonna go over them next. So to basically summarize FNAF 4 and Sister Location, because this video is pretty much long enough already, both of these games don't actually have Afton appear in it, like, a whole lot, to be honest. He only appears in an Easter egg in FNAF 4, and he's in the intro cutscene when you even boot up the game for the first time for Sister Location. So, once again, you're probably wondering, how exactly does this fit in with William? Well, I think Sister Location does tell us the best way, or easiest way, but FNAF 4 can go, it could go jump off a cliff, because Jesus Christ, how the hell were people supposed to know that these 2 kids belong to him? Oh my god. So bottom of the line, there's 3 kids that belong to Afton. There's the 2 boys and the girl. We're gonna talk about the girl first, because it's easy. Elizabeth Afton was William's only daughter, and basically the way she went out was she got too close to Circus Baby, which apparently was also one of William Afton's creations, and she was scooped up and died. Yes, I'm not kidding, that's literally her entire life story just told in like pretty much 3 words. Scoop, baby, dead, pretty much. And yeah, we'll explain why in a sec, but like I said, literally it is that simple. And oh yeah, and I completely forgot. There's ice cream involved. I don't know why that's interesting, but I don't know, there's ice cream. That's about it though. And then you have the 2 boys, Michael and Isaac. And yes, I called him Isaac and not the crying child, because I'm gonna be completely honest with you, the name Evan, like, I mean, it's not a bad name, but come on guys, it wasn't even confirmed. It was literally just 3 letters in a book, and it didn't even connect. Like, you're trying to fit a puzzle piece that doesn't even fit here, so just stop. I mean, it's a better name than Chris, but whatever. And yeah, why am I calling him Isaac? Because literally both him and Isaac are both crybabies, and they both have chests relating to them. You know, unironically, I bet when you open that chest in FNAF 4, it's actually just gonna be Isaac's dead body or something. Like, it's gonna be Blue Baby or something. But, you know, all jokes aside. And then there's also Michael, who I just do not understand how Twitter managed to ruin this entire character, despite all we have for this character is 2 sprites, or at least 3 if you count Foxy Bro, but that's about it. And, well, to kind of quickly put everything in motion, Michael bullies his brother because of something we'll get about into in a second here, and eventually leading to his untimely death on his own birthday. I know, pretty sad. And he dies at the end of night 6, I think, and that's pretty much it. And yeah, that's pretty much all we needed to go over for these 2 games, and before anyone asks, no, I'm not gonna go through FNAF 6, despite it having William. We'll explain that later, but for now, we now have all the tools we need, and it's time to finally put William Afton's backstory puzzle all together and give you guys why I think that William is such a good slasher horror character. Okay, well, William Afton is a character who was corrupted by his own mistakes. As we commonly see among, well, pretty much a lot of FNAF stuff, William Afton, in my opinion, was at an all-time high. He got a wife, he had 3 children, and he recently opened up his first business, a dream business he wanted to do since he was in college, and he even got to do it with his best friend Henry, who he met in college. And yeah, it was all good for Mr. Afton. Everything was happy-go-lucky for the Afton family. And while everything was at a high, things would quickly change for him. Elizabeth would eventually die, and she is canonically, I think, the first death in the Afton family. And this would cause William to be incredibly upset because of what had just happened. His daughter, his only daughter, was taken away from him, and he had no control over it. She made a mistake. Elizabeth went into the circus baby auditorium while no one was around. William couldn't do anything. He was worthless in that situation because he was probably, I don't know, making dinner or something. And she dies, and he finds out, and he's like, I'm stupid, why the fuck did I do that? And yeah, sure, you lost a daughter, but like, homie, I feel like that, like, he would probably be so devastated to lose that daughter. That was the only daughter he had, and it's like, he's pretty upset. He finally got the dream he ever always wanted, and now suddenly it just got Thanos snapped into non-existence. So you could imagine how devastated he must be. And this is kind of a story of, if I don't get to have this, then no one else does, and he decides to go out and kill a child, which we all know is Charlie and blah blah blah. He then eventually loses his son, his youngest son, Isaac, and loses him due to Michael, who he trusted in protecting, or at least, I don't know, babysitting, which eventually causes him to actually start neglecting him for a while, causing Michael to actually start bullying him and eventually killing him at the end of FNAF 4. And yeah, you can see where things start to go. Mrs. Afton leaves and the company is lost. In just a couple weeks, or months, days, I don't know, William Afton has went from his all-time highest point, his dream, his family, to an all-time low, losing his wife, his job, and 2 of his kids. And the only one left is the one that he hates. So eventually he would just start killing kids, because if he's not allowed to have his dream or be alive or have a loving family, then I guess no one else is allowed to. Every other parent should feel the same pain he's going through. And yeah, I guess that could be relatable in some sort of way. And on a quick little side note thing here, I'm going to explain to you all what the purple guy means. Not William, but the purple guy. Weird. I know everyone associates him with William, and yeah, I do too, everyone does, and it's kind of the thing. But here's something that I've learned over my past couple years of probably being alive, is that colors mean something. Colors usually have some sort of symbolism, whether that being yellow for happiness or blue for sadness, red for anger, and green for disgust or something. And then there's the color purple, going off of the blatant Inside Out reference, purple was used for fear in that movie, and you could probably say that purple's used for, you know, royalty or something. But I think that purple, for William Afton's case, or Purple Guy, is used to display corruption. A corrupted man, corrupted by his own mistakes, stuff that was out of his control that he couldn't do anything about. So, to kinda sort of explain how I got that, I'm just gonna tell you a quick story. So once upon a time I was playing Terraria, stay with me here, and I accidentally picked a Corruption World because Corruption Worlds suck for melee class fans, and I wanted Crimson, so I was pretty upset. I didn't realize it until it was way too late, so oh well. I went to check out the Corruption biome, and I was like, huh, that's purple. Just like... Spyro the Dragon! And just like that, I kind of thought of that right off the bat. I don't think it's true, but, you know, I guess it makes sense. And as well, if you want some more stuff, notice how he's smiling in a lot of these sprites, as I've already mentioned. This is what I would see as corruption. Instead of smiling because you achieved something, you've overcome a massive obstacle in your life and you've achieved what you've always wanted, now that smile is sadistic, it's cunning, it's evil, it's corrupted, literally, which causes him to kill all these innocent children, taking innocent lives for the innocent lives that took his kids, you know? And that is what makes William Afton such an interesting character. Compared to someone like Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees, like I said before, William Afton stands out. His whole motives and backstory are there, and they're much bigger compared to them. He's much more of a relatable villain, and yeah, while he definitely does the wrong thing, and you know, we can all say that, but honestly, wouldn't you want to do something like that if you lost literally everything you cared for, like, that quickly? Like, I probably would if I were being honest. I mean, yeah, so that's pretty much it for William. And it also ended in a satisfying ending for FNAF 6, with everyone eventually dying. And that didn't last very long because, they f***ed it over. Oh my god. Yeah, this is just kind of the transition into the negative side where I start bitching about this because Jesus Christ, I just wanna do it, please let me do it. So, yeah, we're just gonna do that real quick. Okay, so there's two main things in Five Nights at Freddy's that, in my opinion, are already making William Afton a worse character, and it's mainly FNAF Help Wanted, but most of it is Security Breach. So, FNAF Help Wanted is the VR game, as you are unaware, and this is the one game in which Vanny, the new character, is introduced in the Halloween DLC. And then there's also Glitchtrap, who is William Afton, but he is a computer virus now or something. And this is the thing that just really confuses me, that apparently he's still alive despite burning at the end of Five Nights at Freddy's 6. And in my opinion, it was like setting up for something that I was probably not going to like. And yeah, that would end up in something I didn't like, because in Security Breach, one of the endings, in which everyone knows about it now, you face off against William in the FNAF 6 pizzeria, making the ending of FNAF 6 completely redundant. I hate this ending. I do not care for Burn Trap because in my opinion, Burn Trap is actually worse than Scrap Trap, and if your character is worse than Scrap Trap, you seriously screwed over, and you should probably rethink your entire, you know, putting him in the game. Also, on a side note as well, there is the Blob, which is basically this game's version of Halo 2's Gravemind. It's pretty bad. I don't like it. Like, let's be honest, this game without Afton would literally feel the exact same. He didn't need to be here, and there's no point in bringing him back anymore. It makes more sense for him to be dead, because that's what pretty much made him almost entirely unique from the other characters. So, well, that's pretty much about all I have to say for this video. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and if you are interested in seeing some more content from me, or, you know, you want to give me some ideas for what I could make FNAF related, I guess, go ahead and like the video, subscribe, join my Discord server, follow me on Twitter, and I'll catch everybody in the next video. Goodbye.